Hello, and welcome to another edition of Titan's Review Corner. I'm Titan. So, I thought that I would hit up the 80s a little bit today and do one of my favorite cartoon series, Rainbow Brite. Now, if you're an 80s child like I am, you probably at least owned one of the Rainbow Brite dolls. Maybe not Rainbow Brite herself, maybe you liked one of the side characters, but you owned one of those dolls. So, what to say about this series? You know, for being a little kid's series, I still enjoy sitting down and watching the episodes. Not only is it that wholesome, nostalgic feeling, but the animation is actually really good. Probably because mostly Japanese people worked on it, but, you know, they just have a higher standard of quality, I think, for animation in general. So it's not necessarily, you know, it could have been any other country as long as they put their heart into it, you know? So this actually is the DVD box set, which I was very pleased. I got this as a Christmas gift a few years ago, which has 13 episodes on it. Can you believe it was only 13 episodes? And I don't know. I mean, if you've seen the series, how well you remember it if you don't actually own it. The start of Rainbow Brite was a two-parter. Her name used to be Wisp, hence the robot chicken joke. And it goes through, you know, a couple of different stories with their hijinks of Murky and Lurky. I always thought that the names that Murky came up with were hilarious. And later on, I think it was, I am not sure, but towards the end of the series, they actually have an episode or two with the characters from this, and I didn't remember that. I was like, I thought they were only in the movie. No, apparently not. So I guess the movie came out sometime before the series actually ended. This, I used to rent the hell out of this tape. We go to the video store. What do you want to rent? Rainbow Brite and the Star Stealer! Rainbow Brite and the Star Stealer! I think I actually wore out our local VHS copy at the video store because I would watch it that much. And even now, it still never gets old. There's one or two, I think one at the beginning and one at the end, musical numbers. So it's kind of interesting that there aren't any in the middle. And I guess there aren't enough to actually constitute as a musical. But it's interesting to have that element in there. Rainbow Brite and Starlight have to go and save basically the sun in crystal form from the evil princess. Now, luckily, there's a lovely picture of the princess on the back. Actually, it's a horrible picture, but what do you get? It's 80s animation and tiny, tiny quality. As far as bad guy goes, I loved the princess. She was, you just wanted to go, that's a good bad guy. If I were a bad guy, I'd want to be the princess. And of course we still have Murky and Lurky showing up, but, you know, they're useless as bad guys. They're just there for the comedic factor. She ends up having to go find Chris and Onyx, and I don't know, I was an 80s girl. I have to admit it, I had such a crush on Chris. And he's such an interesting character because he is that typical boy age, I don't want to fight with a girl, you're useless, and they end up having to work together, so they grow as characters, and I think the dynamic between the two of them makes it all that more interesting, and it goes through various number of places that the characters have to go to in order to achieve their goal, or they end up getting sidetracked, not necessarily because they wanted to. And, you know, just little things in the movie that I'm like, that's creative. Somebody thought outside the box on this. So, overall, my rating for the series, I'd have to give an A. For the movie, I have to give an A+, because there's nothing I don't like about it. Now, of course, you sort of have to already like this sort of genre to really get into it, but for the nostalgic factor, even if you're not into it, maybe check out a little bit of it. You might be surprised, if nothing else. So, there's Rainbow Brite. Have a good night.